Don Thornton, the short sale guide. I want to welcome you to the latest episode of my podcast, also my vlog, because is going to be on YouTube as well. And I want to talk today. I used in an old YouTube channel. I used to call it short sale stories, and I kind of combined them into this one YouTube channel. But I used to go in periodically and just, go over a short sale that we had done recently, and we closed one this week, and it was an interesting situation. Unfortunately, it's somewhat typical of what's been going on lately, in society and so forth. And as real estate investors, you just have to deal with what is, especially in a short sale, which can take some time. But I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you. This is a property that we got in Riverview, which is a suburb of Tampa. I guess if you're in Florida, you would know where this is. If you just because I'm in Orlando, I mean Orlando's my hub. So basically, I go through and put everything in context with where I am in Florida. But if you take I-4 down to Tampa, then go on 75 south for about maybe 10 miles, you reach Riverview. Now, as you can see, this is a very nice house, and the thing about short sales is that we make money on absolute pieces of crap, but we also can make money on houses that are pretty pristine. It's just a question of getting in there and trying to find some flaws, and then being able to, work your magic with the negotiators, which we've been able to do. One of the reasons why we're so good at it is because, we've basically are on a first name basis with most of these negotiators, and they know that we're going to give them a clean file, and that we're going to have documentation for everything they need. And we go overboard on everything that they want to see. So we make it so much, we make it so they don't have to work very hard, which is we want them just to basically rubber stamp what we're doing. But we don't take advantage of that trust, because we had to back things up with to make sure they don't get their butt in a grind, as they say. So this was a very unfortunate situation. Husband and wife, very nice house, very big, and their dream got destroyed. He came down with an illness for privacy reasons. I'm not going to talk about what it was, but it was a interesting thing, because I was talking with the husband all the time, and our relationship was with the husband. He basically wasn't, sometimes marriages, you have, the one spouse is the more dominant one in the financial part of it, and the other one, and sometimes it's the wife, sometimes it's the husband, if we're talking about a heterosexual relationship, of course. But he was taking charge, and we were going through the short sale, and he was coordinating everything. And then he told us he was in the hospital, but he sounded fine. There was no issues. And I'll never forget, uh I talked to him, and I was texting back and forth with him, and I knew that he was in the hospital, but no one ever gave any indication that anything was really seriously wrong with him. It was just, he just, it was a situation, and it was fine. Next day he was dead. It was just unbelievable, how just like that the guy dies. And of course, it's a tragedy, from on a personal level. I mean, if you want to take a step back and just look at it from a real estate investing or short sale point of view, you think to yourself, okay, well, how can we get this done now? Legally speaking, they held the deed in with the joint tenancy with rights to survivorship, which meant that his interest, his 50% interest, automatically went to his surviving spouse. In this case, his wife, of course. And it was somewhat of a challenge to continue moving forward, because we basically had to start over again, because she was just relying on him to make all the decisions, and she hadn't really been paying attention so much. So we were involved in we had a contract, and we were moving forward to try to get this contract consummated and get it closed. Unfortunately, the buyer decided that he wanted to back out after he did inspections, and actually inspections, and the fact that the bank came back and said that they wanted more money than what they originally agreed to, which sometimes happens in short sales. And if you don't have a plan B or a plan C or a plan D or whatever to counter, what we think the bank might counter back at, and already have our ammunition ready to go to counter them with why they shouldn't do that, then you're going to be in big trouble in your negotiations. But in this case, they came up a little bit too high for the buyer. The buyer wouldn't come down as much as we had hoped, and so we were trying to find a happy medium, and the buyer walked. So we ended up having to do a cancellation of contract with that buyer, and then the we had to basically go over everything again with the wife, I guess the widow now, and had to educate her on how this works and what she was, what her responsibilities were, and so on and so forth. Because we had to start over again. We just had to put it back out there, but it was at a bank approved price, which was good. So that way, a lot more people, a lot more buyers will show interest in a short sale if they know that the amount has already been, the price has already been determined by the bank, and they know that for next month, 2 months, or whatever, it's not going to change, and so they don't have to sit there and feel like they're going to have to wait months to go through the process. They're when you're towards the end of the process, it's much more attractive for a potential buyer to come in and buy a short sale at that stage of the negotiations. So they we were able to get her you know get her on board, and not on board, but just basically make sure she felt comfortable moving forward, because she didn't want to have the problems with owing money. She didn't want to have a foreclosure on her record, because she's still relatively young. I mean, in her 40s, and she still has a lot of time to reestablish her credit and be able to build a new life. And obviously recovering from her death of her husband, of course. But we were able to walk her through it, and we just needed to provide a death certificate for the mortgage company, and we were able to close the property. And it was just interesting, because you would think that with such a nice property like this, that we couldn't find anything to any issues that would come up, but actually we did. If you look over here on the left side of the house, um, I guess there was a water pipe that got clipped, maybe by the landscaping people, I don't know, but it was leaking pretty bad against this left side of the house. And you can see over here that some of this water was coming through the stucco, and so this was the master bedroom, and so it was causing some water penetration. And that was an issue, and we were able to use those photos as not 100% ammunition, but it certainly helps. And so I make it a point, if I can, and I can't always do this, but I make it a point to try to get to most of my short sales, especially now with the way it's been slower with the foreclosure moratoriums and so forth. But I like to go through this stuff with a fine tooth comb, and I've been doing this for so long. I got an eagle eye, and I can see this stuff, and we got a great team. We get this stuff done. So anyway, that's all's well that ends well, and we were able to get this short sale done, and it was very profitable for us, and everybody's happy. Our team, our negotiator, our realtor, and me, everybody was happy. My referral partner. So it was, and of course the homeowner, the widow, she was very happy to get this out from under it. She didn't owe any money, of course, and no cost to her whatsoever. The bank paid everything. So that's why I love short sales, because when they're done right and you do them well, then everybody wins, and the problem is solved. The homeowner doesn't owe anything. They didn't have to come out of pocket. In this case, they could have, and they had already moved, so there was no relocation money available. But she already set up in a new place, and so she didn't have to have relocation money. So it was fine. So it was a win-win-win for everybody concerned. And I love that about short sales. I love that about the foreclosure business that I'm in, because we really are helping people. And there are so many investors who don't know what they're doing, so many realtors that don't know what they're doing. And it's a tragedy. It's a travesty too, where they just they can't get it done, and they talk a big game, and then they don't know how to get in the trenches and win these fights. And that's why we're so good at this stuff, because we win most of the time. I would say, maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times a year, the bank just won't work with us, and it goes to foreclosure auction. But for the most part, if we lose on these short sales, it's because our homeowners decided they wanted to go a different route. It's not because we failed in our negotiations. So anyway, that's the story for this property here in Riverview. And I just want to give you just a live example, a recent example of what this business is like and how it affects people on a personal level, and how it's rewarding to be able to help people. And just want to share that with you. And thank you again for subscribing to my YouTube channel and my podcast. And find my blog. It's don.thornton or donthornton.now.site, https:// don Thornton, excuse me, DOHN Thornton.now.site. You can see my videos in my blog, and we'd love to keep in contact, because I try to provide as much good content as I can. So I just want to thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you next